Hello, everybody, and welcome into Gambling Goals. I'm your host, Mitch Carr. You can find me on Twitter at MitchCarrTV. The man you came to see, the man with the picks, the man with the knowledge, the man with the actual pickaxe, that is Prospector Sam. You can find him on Twitter at Prospector_Sam. Sam comes into this week at 12-8-1, still benefiting from that 5-0 start, but it's starting to catch up with you, Sam. Are you feeling the heat a little bit?
Not at all. You don't always win every week. This is long-term gambling. There's going to be ups and downs, but at the end of the day, you look at that number, 12-8-1, means we're profitable. You're working in the right end of those margins, and we'll continue to make money. I have no doubt that we'll be up again some point soon, hopefully this week, and we'll just keep making some money.
This is going to be the week. You got to follow the Prospector on this one. We're going to start with our bread and butter in the English Premier League with my favorite team, Manchester City. They are hosting Southampton after just putting 6 up against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Their last 3 home matches, City has won 5-0 over Arsenal, 5-0 over Norwich, and now 6-3 over RB Leipzig in the Champions League. So you've got a pick that has a lot to do with how many goals City can score.
Yeah, funny enough, I wrote this and made the pick before the game today, so it wasn't necessarily spurred at all by their offensive performance, although I'm not sure how much you can take away from that game given how bad Leipzig have been recently. But overall, I see City scoring a lot of goals. The Southampton defense, they played pretty well to keep West Ham off the board last week, but this is a team that's given up multiple goals to Everton and Aston Villa this year. They're really just not all that great of a team, obviously speaking. And last year their defense was just horrible. I think the trend for them is going to be more of those high scoring games. They're going to give up a lot of goals, and obviously City can score in bunches. If they can manage to keep them off the board for, say the full first half, you might see a lower scoring game here. I just don't know how they do it. Their defense is shaky. They don't have the quality to keep with City. My guess is this game could be, 3, 4, 5 goals again. And I kind of do like Southampton to be maybe on the wrong side of relegation this year. So I can see City doing pretty well. Over 2.5 goals for them, kind of similar to how we went with the PSG bet last week is about -140. That feels like great money here. They just are so much better than Southampton. They're not going to keep up, especially at the Etihad. I just don't see how this game stays close. Over 2.5 is great money for that value.
I fully agree with you on that one. The only thing that gives me pause is that we were both really shocked by that Southampton-West Ham under. Not only did it go under 2.5 goals, it was a scoreless draw. And those are two teams that don't defend particularly well and do attack decently well.
Yeah, you have that happen sometimes. I think the big difference here is the disparity in quality. The one issue we saw with Southampton and West Ham was they kind of stalemated. Neither of them, West Ham is clearly the better team, but neither of them are great teams. The disparity in talent here is just too much. They can't keep this City team off the board. You got a little concerned. I got a little concerned watching City last week against Leicester. They didn't look particularly good offensively, and then you saw the game today, and you remember that this team can score in football numbers. So I like them to put up at least 2 or at least 3 goals here. It feels like fairly comfortable for the team they're playing.
He has 5 picks from all over Europe, 5 different leagues, 5 picks. We're going to move south to España. And in España, we've got Real Sociedad and Sevilla. That match is Sunday. Sam, what do you like there?
Yeah, well, on the other end of things, I try not to bet unders very often in soccer just because it's such a painful thing to do. And, you can have one bad bounce or one bad mistake, a red card, and you end up in the wrong side of a game that you should have won. At the same time, anyone who's watching Spanish soccer right now knows that, aside from Real Madrid games and maybe a couple other teams, it's really slow. It's boring. There are not a lot of goals compared to the height of the Spanish national team about 8 years ago and the tiki-taka style. It's turned into the most boring league in Europe, to be quite frank. And these two teams do not score goals. A lot of these teams don't. Both Real Sociedad and Sevilla, 2 of their total 7 games this year have gone over 2.5 goals. They're both averaging well below the 2.5 goal mark on the year. It's just not set up to be particularly interesting game. they're relatively even teams, as we kind of talked about in the last segment with West Ham and Southampton. You tend to see games stall out a little bit more when you have even opposition as opposed to a disparity in talent. This just feels like a game where you're not going to get a lot of chances. Obviously any game can kind of flip on its head, especially in soccer with a moment of brilliance. But there's just going to be less opportunities for both these teams. It's just going to be, a slow midfield battle, in my opinion, and under 2.5 goals, even at -150 is the right play for what we're seeing here.
I had to recheck it. When you texted me the picks ahead of time, I had to look at this and say, did Prospector Sam pick an under? I couldn't believe it. It was only 2 weeks ago that you had 5 picks and all of them were overs.
Yeah, I have two under picks in my article this week, and it made me feel a little bit dirty. I didn't like it. But you go where the board takes you, and I look around and see the games that I think feel right and look right for the money, and when I see it, I won't feel good about it, but I'll do it because money is money, and we want to be profitable here at Gambling Goals.
Now, there are games that you pick because you like the money. Then there are some games that you pick because of the value. This one, there's a big value pick here. It's kind of an underdog pick, but you've got Juve and Milan playing each other on Sunday. Big rivalry, Northern Italian clubs. And you think this one's not going to end in a draw. This one's going to end with somebody winning this match.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty high odds play. So obviously, you don't need to be as aggressive with it. That said, I think I don't see how you can not like the value here on AC Milan. They're about +230, +220 on the money line. This is a team that's tied for first in Serie A. They've given up 1 goal on the year, and they're facing a Juventus side that sit at 1 point through 3 games. They've blown multiple leads. They're basically they look terrible. I mean, there's really no way around it. They kind of seem to be a little shell shocked by the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo. They can't seem to kind of get goals when they need them. I mean, last week they took a lead against Napoli early on, and then kind of just sunk into the game and looked like a low table team trying to hold on to a lead for 80 minutes. At the money line here, +230 for a Milan team that's playing much better. I know there are a lot of people that are going to see this and say, "Wow, Juventus beat the shit out of Malmo last week." Like, it's Malmo. Like, 3-0 against the Swedish.
Can I just say that I was actually going to bring that up, that they beat the hell out of Malmo, and I don't know where Malmo is from. And then Milan had a much tougher match against Liverpool today. But you just answered the question. Malmo, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right? Like, you can get all positive about it, but at the end of the day, if they don't beat Malmo by 3 goals, then it's kind of a loss. The AC Milan result today was a little more disappointing for me. Actually, going into halftime with a 2-1 lead to blow that, even at Anfield, is kind of a disappointment. But again, the way these two teams are playing right now, Milan just looks better. They are the better team right now. And at +230, again, it's a bit of a long shot, especially on the road, but they're simply the better team, and I think it's worth the bet here if you can get some decent payout on it.
If this is the first time you've seen Gambling Goals, we appreciate your viewership. But also the way this works is that we've given you 3 picks. We've explained them. We're going to give you 2 more picks now. If you'd like more explanations as to why he's picking those games, you can go to dimers.com. Prospector Sam writes a column there. You can see more explanations. So we've got 2 additional picks for you in this one. The first one is in the Turkish Super League, and he's added another league to his repertoire. He's just watching soccer from all over Europe. Although, Sam, you're getting dangerously close to Asia. We talked about the dangers of betting African World Cup qualifying. Turkey's still Europe, but it's really close to Asia. The pick in this Istanbul Başakşehir Fenerbahce match, he likes the Fenerbahce money line. That's at +105 right now. And then back to good old trusty Ligue 1, where he is unbeaten this season. Lens, I believe, versus Lille. We had a discussion about how to pronounce that one ahead of time. They're going to play on Saturday. The bet in that one is the match over, and that is at +115. So, Sam, pretty good odds on Ligue 1. Where did the pick from Turkey come from?
I look over the board, and I always want to find games to see if I can make you uncomfortable as an announcer. If I can find some names that'll make you squirm a little bit in your seat as you have to say them. So no, the pick was I actually think there's fantastic value here, and for anyone that watches a decent amount of Turkish soccer, I think that this is actually a fairly good bet. I'm not sure you're going to be able to find it on anything other than some bootleg satellites, but for if you can watch it or not, just the value is there. It's a solid money line. And again, we like to get creative. We like to be worldly around gambling goals, and I'm just bringing you to a new destination. If you can make it out to Istanbul for the game, power to you.
And if you can, bring me back some shawarma and some Turkish yogurt. That stuff is good. He is Prospector Sam. His Twitter handle is @prospector_Sam. I am your host, Mitch Carr. You can find me on Twitter @MitchCarrTV. Once again, this has been Gambling Goals, and we thank you for watching.